We are in Volume 8 of the Bible story by Arthur S Maxwell. This is my book. I have all 10 of the books. This is 8. And if you've been following me, I have read just about every one of them. And I plan on doing the rest of them. Okay? Part 1, Story 12. Greedy man made generous. That's what it says. Not only did Jesus heal the sick, cleanse lepers, restored cripples, open the eyes of the blind, make the deaf hear, feed the hungry, save the drowning, and raise the dead, but he somehow got right inside people's minds and hearts and made them think and act like new men and women. He was indeed the Prince of Healers. Coming out of Jericho one day, with a great company of people about him, his keen eyes caught sight of a very short man running ahead of the crowd. It was Zacchaeus. I know that word, Zacchaeus. 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 And now the song of Zacchaeus in the tree coming in my head. The chief tax collector of the district and very rich. And the song goes, Zacchaeus goes up into the tree for the Lord to see. And then Jesus says to Zacchaeus, he will spend the day with him. All I know is I remember the tree. Zacchaeus climbing an oak tree. Okay, let me get back here. Zacchaeus ran on till he got to a sycamore tree. See? Sycamore. There, forgetting his importance, he climbed the tree like a boy and made himself comfortable in the branches. Yeah, he's supposed to be really small. Jesus was glad that such a man as this was interested enough to go to all the trouble just to catch a glimpse of him as he passed by. The crowd moved so slowly on, with some people shoving hard to get closer to Jesus and others calling loudly to him for help. At the sycamore tree, Jesus stopped and looked up into the face of Zacchaeus. The tax collector was delighted. He was the greatest teacher of Galilee right underneath him, looking up at him, yes, smiling at him. Something began to happen inside him, then and there. Surely, he thought, Jesus couldn't be interested in him. Not a tax collector. Everybody hated tax collectors. But Jesus was interested in him, very much so. Then, to the surprise of Zacchaeus and everybody else around, Jesus said, Zacchaeus, hurry up and come down. I want to stay at your house today. My house, said Zacchaeus, his eyes open wide in surprise, and a smile wreathing his face. Wreathing means got on his face. My house? The next moment, he had slid down the tree and was standing beside Jesus. Do come. You are so welcome, he said, and proudly led Jesus to his home. People in the crowd didn't understand it. They began to complain that Jesus had left them to go off with a tax collector, of all people. But Jesus knew what he was doing. He could see all the hidden good in this little man. Good that was waiting just for love to bring it out. It was a fine house they went to, one of the best on the outskirts of Jericho. No doubt it was beautiful view over the Jordan Valley. And since he was an outcast, he had to be outside the city. Zacchaeus ordered his servants to bring cool drinks and the best food for his guests. So pleased was he that the great teacher had been willing to come to see his home. I wish I knew all that Jesus said to Zacchaeus as they sat together in the living room, or maybe on the porch that day. But I don't. Nobody does. All we know is that the before the afternoon was over, Zacchaeus was a changed man. Jesus, he said, I have made up my mind. I am going to give half of all that I own to the poor. And if I ever take it away, then it has a picture or a watercolor painting of Zacchaeus in the tree. It has a text in the middle, so okay, let's get back to it. It said, and if I ever taken any money from anybody unlawfully, I am going to give it back 4 times over. Jesus was delighted. This day is salvation come to this house, he said. Then he uttered those words that had brought so much blessing to millions of people ever since. For the Son of Man is come to seek and to save that which was lost. Yes, rich and poor, high and low, sick and well, old and young, the tax collector and those who are taxed, anybody who is lost, who wants to be found, wants to find the way home to God and heaven, may know that Jesus is seeking him and will save him if he wants to be saved. And it says, dear boy and girl, wheresoever you are, up in a tree, in a boat, or on a city street, or in your own little bedroom, Jesus is looking for you. And then it has a picture of Jesus talking to Zacchaeus again in his house, in Zacchaeus' house. It's a really pretty illustration. And that was the end of part 1, story 12. Yeah, and the end of part 1. So, of course, the break's coming. I'm going to break and do what I need to do and be back and we'll finish out. We'll start on our next part. See you in a bit.